loves, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about a topic that has been highly requested because there's not that much information out there, which I find very interesting. We are talking about the ascendant through the partner's houses. So you could look at it from the perspective of your ascendant in your partner's houses, right? Like, let's say, you know, your ascendant is in Virgo and your partner has Virgo in the 7th house. So your ascendant is falling or falls into your partner's 7th house. Or you can do the other way around, right? Where your partner's ascendant is, you know, falling into your 2nd house, for example. What does it mean and what can we learn? And I find generally that the ascendant is one of the most misunderstood parts of the whole birth chart. And I think this is not a coincidence, because the ascendant is the part of us that we are becoming more of, that we are growing deeper into, and also the part of us that we don't really know yet, right? We're getting to know it. It's our objectives, the objectives that we learn in life. And I remember a few years ago, I was at a friend's place and there was this girl there. I think he was dating her at the time. And, you know, we were talking about astrology. I told her I'm an astrologer, and she's like, is it true that we are becoming our ascendant when we get older? I'm like, not really. You will never become your ascendant. You never all of a sudden be your ascendant, right? But it's the objectives, right? Like that the ascendant holds, like the things that this sign is all about. Let's say it's Virgo. The sign that Virgo is all about, higher and lower vibrations. We are going to learn these throughout life. There are going to be, I don't want to say tests, but there are going to be challenges to overcome. There are going to be things that we will go through in life that make us understand this part within us much better. The interesting thing with the ascendant also is that it is what we are not becoming, as in like we start as not being it and then all of a sudden we are being it. No, that's not what it is. But we are learning what this part of us is all about. We are learning that, right? So it is conscious and unconscious at the same time. It is a part of us that tends to become clearer the older we get. But it is not an age thing per se, where you can say like when you're 40, you all of a sudden fully understand what your ascendant is all about. It is more like how conscious are you becoming generally? And the more conscious you are becoming, the more you will also understand that part of you better. And that can be, you know, by the time you're 30, you can be very, very conscious about it. But other people, you know, they need a little longer. So it's like you can't put a time frame on it per se. Having said that, if Saturn is on the ascendant, then time is much more of the essence. The time is much more a thing for you. And also what you will have to learn and understand more in your life is the understanding of time and what that means, and why it helps you and why it hinders you in the way you live. But that's for a different video. We are talking about the ascendant in Synastry here. Now, before we get into the houses, the ascendant through the houses, there's one more thing. The ascendant is also a directional kind of thing. And it's directional in a way, again, where we learn. Right? The first house sets the stage for how we pursue life. Like how we direct life. And the ascendant within the first house is then saying, okay, the direction is themed by this, right? Let's stay with Virgo. Like there's got to be a lot of health themes here. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? Don't be scared. Like, you know, that doesn't mean that every, you know, Virgo ascendant is going to be sick throughout life. This can come in, you're very conscious about what you eat. This can come through like you're very conscious or you have to learn to become very conscious about certain health topics like smoking. This could be a theme for you. Or like working out, right? Like Virgo themes will be part of your direction, like the way you go through life, the way you walk through life. And yes, also the exterior, right? Like the Ascendant tells us a lot about our exterior, the way we present ourselves in life, and the identity. And there are identity shifts. And these identity shifts have to do with us getting to know our Ascendant and what our Ascendant entails better, right? The better, let's stay with Virgo, the better you get to understand your Virgo essence, right? In the directional sense, the more you might shift into, you know, a more health conscious person. Or if you are super crazy health conscious, maybe you're getting more relaxed. And that also has to do with an identity shift because you will show up differently. So now let's get into the houses. So if the Ascendant, your Ascendant shows up in your partner's first house, your partner will have the same Ascendant as you if we look at it from a whole sign house perspective, right? Like, and that's what I do. This video is looked at from a whole sign house perspective where one sign is occupying one house. Now, of course, you can use this and utilize the understanding and adapt it to Placidus or whatever you use. But I believe whole sign house astrology is foundational. It's the basics, right? The bread and butter, the basics, and we got to start with it. We can then look at all the other things. We can layer things on top of it, and I do that in my readings, but I always start with whole sign. So let's say your Ascendant is in your partner's first house, which makes it also your partner's Ascendant, right? Your partner's Ascendant will be the same Ascendant, maybe not in the same degree. Maybe your partner's Ascendant is in the 1st degree, yours is in the 29th degree. Still, you are going to find a lot of similarities in your conscious and unconscious behavior. And depending on where you're at in life, you know, one of you might be a little further ahead with the understanding. However, you will vibe really nicely when it comes to the core understandings of life, not core values, because that's what we're going to talk about in the second house, but the core understanding and a directional understanding. Even if you are coming from two completely different backgrounds, meaning cultures, right? One of you is, you know, from an Eastern background, the other one is from a Western background, you will still feel strangely at home with each other, even though, you know, it might be a different culture, might be a different religion, right? Maybe one of you is Christian, the other one is of the Jewish religion. There is like this almost like I feel you kind of vibe there. Like I might not be familiar with your religious pattern and, you know, your religious habits, but even deeper and more foundational, I get you. And it's almost like you're kind of part of me. Like, because we are talking, the first time we're talking about the body, right? The physical representation. So we will feel very like we might even feel like an extension of each other. And because we have the same house constellation, right? Like if let's say we have Virgo in the first house, we will both have Sagittarius in the 4th, and Capricorn in the 5th, and Aquarius in the 6th, and Pisces in the 7th. So the themes will match again, the timelines might not match, but the themes, the life themes, and the way we look at relationships, the way we look at creating life on a day-to-day basis will match. And even what I've seen a lot is when I see this I get very excited when I see this in Synastry, because there is that harmony there that is foundational. Even if there's other layers of like many differences, that foundation that you have is really hard to break. That's why when we have this, and then we have like, you know, Saturn issues in the relationship, Mars issues in the relationship, you know, really hard squares, oppositions. And it's like, oh my God, why are we even together? This will keep us. This is such a deep bond, like sharing the same ascendant sign and sharing the same ascendant, especially the closer they are, right? The more we will feel like we are one, but with lots of different layers. So this is a difficult one to let go of for both people. And again, even if, let's say, let's take a topic here. Let's take the 6th house, right? We share the same 6th house, but we might not have the same planets in there, right? We may have different planets in this area, or one person has no planets there, the other person has a lot of planets in there. Then of course that area is altered. Still, the foundation is going to be, we will understand each other on the foundation, and maybe one person will have to work through certain things a little with a few more challenges, and with a different look, right? Let's say that there's Saturn in there. That person with the Saturn in there will, you know, will probably have more challenges in this area that then will show up in the relationship also, because then all of a sudden Saturn will be also in the other person's 6th house, because we have the same house constellation. But again, foundational, we have a similar outlook. And what we will learn, even if before we came together and we lived life very differently, we come together and we will understand much better where we were not aligned, which areas we were not aligned, through the lens of the other. And we might see, wait a minute, why did I do this in this area? This is actually not me. I need to adjust that. So we get a lot of this. I think this is my favorite overlay of all the overlays. And they're all very beneficial, because the lessons here are so valuable, because we are learning, right? It's not just like Venus, where, you know, Venus, it's about this topic and this is about that topic. Another planet is about another topic, but the Ascendant is learning about ourselves, right? Like the Ascendant is learning about us becoming, right? The Ascendant is you becoming. And in the 1st house, that becoming is really, we can see it in all areas, right? Through the partner, because we now get a chance to look at the area we've worked on maybe for 30, 40 years, and now we get to look at it from through a different lens. So this is, I think this could be a whole separate video, the Ascendant in the 1st house, I feel, because this is so giving. It's really giving, that one. And like I said, I think this is going to be a really tough one to break. Doesn't mean people don't break up when they have that. Of course they do. But this is one of those relationships that is not short-lived, as in, yeah, that was okay, bye. Or when you think back 10 years later, you're like, wow, that relationship shaped me. It literally shaped you, because we're talking about the Ascendant, and the Ascendant in the 1st house shapes the whole, your whole life, right? Every area in your life. So maybe I will do a separate video on this, because I have so much more to say. But the scope of this, I mean, we are already like 60 minutes in. So let's get going. Let's get to the 2nd house. So the partner's Ascendant in your 2nd house, or your Ascendant in your partner's 2nd house, is all about a different view, a different direction when it comes to worth and value and money, right? What your partner is going to help you here with is a different view of your abundance, your own abundance, your money, your values, what is valuable for you. And that includes the valuables you own. That might, there might be a big kind of like shift, right? You might go around the corner, right? Like your whole life you went like this, and now you're like, oh, I did not explore this area. And a whole new world might open up to you when it comes to your finances as well. There might be, and this can, again, right, there's always lower and higher vibrations. So this can unfold in the higher or lower vibration, and depending on both of you, right? The way you live your lives, the way you look at life. You know, if you live in the consensus reality, this will unfold differently than when you have a much more open mind and when you're much more open to many different perspectives and to see life from different perspectives, and not just this, no, this has to be like this because this is what I've learned, so that's how it has to be. Now, the Ascendant in a partner's third house will bring shifts in direction when it comes to your social circle, your social life. Maybe your partner is coming from a different social background and will offer you a different glimpse, or not just a glimpse, maybe like a different life in that way. You know, possibilities, because again, it's the Ascendant, so the possibilities that come with that, right? The objectives that you can apply and achieve in life. That could be that maybe, you know, you have a partner that is coming from an upper class background, and now your world opens up in that regard, where you now learn to live in that part of society, in that social circle. And again, this can come with lower and higher vibrations, depending on how open you are and how open your partner is as well. So I find this a very interesting one. And again, this doesn't have to be like, you know, a class thing per se. This can also be like, you know, maybe you're moving with your partner. Now you're moving to a different area in your country. Like, you know, you might live in the south of your country, now you're moving to the north of your country. And this can also come with educational shifts, like we're talking basic education here. So this can come with a pursuit of, you know, a different educational pursuit. You know, maybe you're going back to university, maybe you're studying something new. And this is not higher education where you know, now want to study psychology or philosophy or become a doctor necessarily. I think this is more like basic education, something that you maybe missed out on, and you now want to, you know, you want to get the basics right here. So this is, I find this a very, very interesting and an exciting one, because the third house, it's a very exciting area. It's also communication, right? This is also a area of communication. So when the Ascendant comes in here, this could be us opening up to our own voice, right? And that this might come with a few challenges on the way, but we are learning to speak up. The Ascendant in the fourth house relates generally to family, and since it's the Ascendant, maybe there is a shift in direction, or maybe not a 180-degree shift, but you know, some sort of shift in direction when it comes to the way we look at family. How do we pursue family? Maybe we were always under the impression we don't want the classic family situation. And now this partner comes into our lives, and all of a sudden we want 2 kids, a dog, and a house. This is a possibility. This can of course also relate to other family matters. But generally, wherever the ascendant goes, the partner's ascendant, that's where it brings like a shift in direction, and like almost like an identity shift in that area. The ascendant in the 5th house is an ascendant that is this constellation will bring, I love this by the way, a different approach to our own creative self-expression. Also, what I love about this one, this can bring shifts in the idea we have about children. You know, maybe we've been someone that never wanted children, and now this partner shows up and we're like, we're up for it. We're up for it because it brings a very different energy into this area. Like, we're moving direction, right? We are not going to lose our ascendant ever. Of course, our ascendant is our ascendant, but this area where the partner ascendant falls in often gets to shift. We get to see a new perspective in this area. This is the area of creation, and you create a self-expression, which, yes, children are a big part of this area. Also our own playfulness, right? The way we are playful, you know, where we remember our childlike qualities. Now the ascendant in the 6th house brings a different approach to health, possibly a different approach to our day-to-day routines, seeing those from a different perspective, a different, you know, possibility. Maybe we've been the 9-to-5 kind of person, and now our partner shows us that, well, we could be digital nomads. And we didn't really believe this could be a possibility, but with this relationship, all of a sudden we see that this could be a possibility. Or could also be the other way around, right? Now, the ascendant in the partner's 6th house, or your 6th house, now this is a different approach to one-on-one relationships. The one-on-one relationships we have in our lives. Maybe we are now more open to seeing those in a different way, and maybe we are also with this partner looking at living in a romantic relationship in a very different way. You know, maybe we are now shifting from being the bachelorette or the bachelor that we always saw ourselves at. Like, we always thought, like, yeah, you know, we like to have like little encounters here and there, but with this partner, all of a sudden we are kind of like, no, what was I thinking? Who was I? Like, I want the classic traditional relationship, you know, with the masculine and feminine in a reciprocal kind of manner, in a reciprocal type of relationship. So this could be one way this ascendant, this constellation works out. Now the ascendant in the partner's 8th house, or partner's ascendant in our 8th house. One expression of this could be that we are now all of a sudden seeing a different way. Maybe we see like the inner child work, the healing journey, therapy. Maybe we look at this in a different way now. Maybe we allow ourselves to go a little deeper, to sink a little deeper, to understand things a little better. Sorry, there's this helicopter circling my house. I apologize. Okay, it's going down. There we go. So the ascendant in the partner's 8th house, or the partner's ascendant in our 8th house, is, you know, inner child work. This can be really, really deep healing, inner child healing, because we now can see things from a different perspective, and maybe we feel more safe to go deeper. Again, we have to, of course, look at what the partner, the way the partner's ascendant is aspected, right? Like what aspects does the partner bring in? What planets does the partner bring into this area as well? You know, maybe the partner brings Pluto and Saturn into this area as well. But this is generally a deep healing aspect. I actually had someone ask me on a different video a few weeks ago. I think it was the video, the Ascendant conjunct the partner's Pluto, and they were asking me if this is the same, that what I explained in there, would that be the same as the partner's Ascendant in the 8th house? And I said there are similarities, but it's not the same, because the 8th house also entails worth stuff, like worth and value, money things show up there as well, right? With Pluto, we are going really deep into the bone marrow, right? Pluto represents the deep healing work and a different approach to that. But when we look at the 8th house and we bring the ascendant of someone's ascendant into this area, we do deep inner work and inner child work, but we also do re-evaluation of our values, right? Because we are reflecting the 2nd house. The 8th house reflects the 2nd house, and whatever is showing up in the 2nd house reflects in the 8th house in a way where it's almost like we're seeing the shadow of it. What's our shadow when it comes to the values we're holding? What have we not integrated when it comes to our self-worth, when it comes to our values, when it comes to the way we look at money, and our partner will really help us here. And we might not look at it as help to begin with. Maybe we will be very much triggered by the partner's ascendant in our 8th house, or the other way around, right? Our partner might be very triggered having our ascendant in there. But it's a directional kind of, the thing with the ascendant is like we are bringing a part of us in there that is also looking for direction, right? It's not a fully grown, perfect thing yet. We are still learning. Our ascendant is still learning, and now we are bringing this part in someone else's area that is already, it's an area where we are not very confident, and where we like to hide. And the ascendant comes in there almost like, you know, I see the Fool card in tarot here, where the ascendant comes in there and says, "Ooh, now I'm here. What are we going to do? Oh, what is this? Have you looked at this? What is your problem here? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" And the other one is going to be very triggered because, you know, you come in with like a bit of an innocence, because that was the ascendant it's a very innocent energy, and you bring that energy in here. And even if you are, you know, not 20 anymore, even if you're in your 40s or 50s, there's still an innocence about the ascendant that you bring in here, and you point out things that you clearly see in your partner's world that are improvable. And you come into this area with your ascendant and you point out things, right? You point things into a certain direction, and your partner might not want to go there because your partner might not want to look, and you might ruffle some feathers in this area. But this is a beautiful, beautiful aspect of growth, like everything that comes into the 8th house, obviously. But here we might be able to have a big perspective shift in this area. Because it's the ascendant, right? It's the direction. Like, you know, we might be able to pinpoint our partner into a direction, really, but both probably very unconscious. You might not be 100% conscious about why you are saying what you're saying to your partner here, or why you're pointing your partner towards certain things, towards certain issues. But you'll both learn a lot through that. I think this is another big lesson for the ascendant person, but also obviously for the house person. Then the ascendant in the partner's 9th house, that's a beautiful one. This is directional shifts in higher education, but also directional shifts in the belief system. Also religion comes in here, right? We might shift the partner's view on religion, the partner's religion in general, or maybe the partner will take on our religion because, maybe you want to get married and the religion, one person's religion requires the other one to become a part of that religion. Also, travel is a big one here, where we both can have a big shift in how we pursue traveling, how we believe we can live a travel life, like, travel more. Maybe one of the two used to be someone that was much more of like a homebody, I like my city, I like to be here, I go on holiday once a year, and then you meet that other person and they open your horizon to, maybe I actually want to live in, Vietnam for a year. So there's a big perspective shift in this area through the Ascendant coming into this area. Then partner's Ascendant in the 10th, what I see here a lot is a shift in direction when it comes to our professional life. Our partner might really push us consciously or unconsciously to change professions. And maybe, we've been working in a certain profession, but we've done it for the money. And we've always wanted to do something else. And now our partner comes in and says, look, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are you going? Is this where you want to go? And he or she helps us to, to shift and to trust that we can actually do what we want to do in this lifetime, what, our true Dharma, live our true Dharma. And this can also be, of course, can go the other way, again, depending on where we're at consciously, that we are doing something and then our partner said, oh no, what is this? This is like, we don't, why don't you do something else where you can make more money? Our partner can also obviously shift us into that direction, which could be a direction that we don't want to go to, right? But again, there is a lesson in everything. Where are you at? What are you understanding about yourself and your life? And what do you still have to learn here? Now, Ascendant in partners, 11th house, this could be a directional shift in the way we look at our community, about the collective in general, about our hopes and dreams, about the legacy we want to leave behind, about humanitarian, I cannot say this word, humanitarian approaches, where we might look at this area very differently. We might open up much more to the world, to different groups of friends. Maybe your partner brings a completely different group of friends, and you get more comfortable with a certain type of people through that. Then last but not least, everyone's favorite, Ascendant in partners, 12th house. This is a directional shift in the way we look at spirituality. Maybe we've been closed off to that part of us, our own spirituality, and our partner opens our eyes. And again, this can go both directions, where we, I've seen this in all kinds of ways, where we might be pulled into the direction of a cult-like community, or our partner can help us open up to our own spirituality and then living our own spirituality, becoming more aware of who we are on a core level. Again, this is a learning aspect, right? The Ascendant in the partner's houses. It's a learning aspect for both people, because the Ascendant is the part of us that is constantly learning, improving, and evolving. Constantly, until the day we take our last breath. The Ascendant is learning. So we are also going to learn as the Ascendant person about this house area, and in this house area we're going to learn a lot about that particular area, like, you know, it's the third house. We're going to learn about communication. We're going to learn how to utilize and use our voice much more, you know, if it would be the third house. But anyways, this video already is super long, so I'm going to stop here. If you have any questions about this particular aspect, feel free to ask in the comment section. If you want a personal reading, a Synastry reading, feel free to book it by clicking on the link in the description box. And anything else, ask away. I'm here for you. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.